For the past few weeks, San Francisco's secondary has been without All-Pro safety Talanoa Hufanga, who left earlier in the season due to a torn ACL. However, despite such a major loss, San Francisco's secondary appears unfazed, thanks in large part to the rookie selected in the 3rd round, Jer Brown. In this recent game, for example, Brown received the highest grade of any defender, while missing 0 tackles and bringing in an interception. So without further ado, let's dive into Jer Brown's game, which I think resembled his college playing days of being an absolute ball hawk, but also delivering some absolutely monstrous tackles. However, in this recent game against Seattle, Jer Brown was tested early and often with deep passes down the field, which is something often rookie corners and safeties struggle with. But here, you can see how Jer Brown plays this perfectly and helps break up the pass with Charvarius Ward. On this play, when we look at Jer Brown one more time, we can tell he's doing several things right. The first big thing is he doesn't let any man get deeper than he is. That's pretty much the vital role of any safety. But what I also love is how quickly he triggers, and his anticipation is something that I think is much similar to a guy like Talanoa Hufanga. When we look at this play, for example, we can see how Brown is triggering as soon as this ball is released. And despite Charvarius Ward missing this tackle, Brown is able to clean it up, which is something that I think he does such a good job with, especially considering how young he is. He gets these guys down consistently. And that's something you'll notice about Jer Brown. Despite being a rookie, he doesn't play like one. Take this play, for example, where he disguises his coverage only to drop off. This ultimately makes this read much harder for a young quarterback who hasn't received all that much playing time. This high-level veteran stuff is something you don't often see out of young players. While we've been focusing more on Jer Brown's pass coverage ability, on this play, we'll see his ability to make an open field tackle. And this could have easily have been a touchdown-saving tackle. Here, you can see how Zach Charbonnet is just dicing his way through the Niners defense. Brown doesn't have the best angle, but nonetheless is able to get him down for the tackle, which is something I was pretty impressed by. Often, the thing that sucks about safeties is when they make a big play, it's often to save a major play for the opposing side. And Jer Brown did this back-to-back on that first run, but also here you can see once again how Brown coming from the side really saved another touchdown possibly. These tackles and sure tackles by Brown is something I believe San Francisco desperately needed in their safety position, and Brown delivered. I mean, watching Brown is almost like watching a linebacker back there in the safety position. When you watch this play, you can see how he triggers on the hole and then fills it just like Dre Greenlaw or Fred Warner would. This guy truly doesn't seem afraid to tackle anyone, and when you couple that with his crazy anticipation, you get plays like this. Maybe most important for a rookie though is Jer Brown understands his assignment. In this case, he's all over the flats and stops this for a short gain. He also delivers a brutal hit. One of the things that really stands out about Brown though is how quick he gets to the ball carrier. Despite running his 40-yard dash at the combine about 4.56 seconds, he appears to be running like a 4.4 speed. And I think that's mainly due to his anticipation he's playing with. I mean, when we look at this next play, this is more evident than ever. While Lenoir is the one to get the breakup, I want to pay attention to how quickly Jer Brown identifies where Drew Lock is going with the ball, and he's right there. If Lenoir didn't drop this interception, perhaps Brown could have been the one to come away with it. I guess the biggest thing that stands out to me about Brown is how he looks like a veteran on the field. This is similar to a guy like Brock Purdy who comes in and just makes play after play. And Brown seems to be the perfect fit for San Francisco. I mean, when you're watching this play, this is perfect coverage, which results in the interception for Brown. When you watch how Brown and the San Francisco defense played this deep pass from Locke, you can't really dock them in any way. Brown was able to maintain inside leverage while the corners had outside leverage, which I believe was perfectly played on this play and resulted in the pick from Brown. So even though San Francisco lost such a key player, and while you can't replace a player like Talanoa Hufanga, I believe Jer Brown offers his own skill set to the safety position. And so far, he looks like an absolute baller out there. So while John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have gotten their share of criticism, I believe one thing you can't really criticize them for is the roster they put together. because even when they have to rely on some of their backups like Jer Brown, they go out there and absolutely ball out. The craziest part to me though is San Francisco's roster seems full of players like this. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Jer Brown was only playing special teams, but last year, Brock Purdy really didn't get an opportunity because San Francisco wanted to put him in the lineup. But once again, injury forced their hand, and they never looked back. So think of how many great players they have on their roster right now who just haven't gotten their opportunities. Guys like D. Winters or Ronnie Bell. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts on how San Francisco was able to replace an all-pro safety and not even notice a major drop-off. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.